welcome to another Cheeky Girl Creations DIY video. So today I will be making another video for the September Mixed Media Box theme Boho Chic. And I've created the unboxing video, which you can see in an iCard in the top right hand corner. And to go with the unboxing video, I created a canvas. And this canvas came blank, of course, in the box, and then I created this on it. So if you want to see that video, I'll link that. They're in two parts. The first part is the unboxing, the second part is me creating this canvas. So I'll link both in an iCard in the top right hand corner. Just give you a quick close look. So yeah, so this is the second video. I try to do at least 2 to 3 videos for each box. And this box is sold out, but there are other boxes available, like previous boxes, that are all on sale, so you can grab yourself one of those. And you can always get a multiple subscription box, and when you do that, you can order some boxes like in advance so that you won't miss out on the future box, and as well you get discounts the more boxes you add to your order. So in this video I want to finish off this journal. So I've done all the pages, and I will do a flip through once I've done the cover, and that's what I'll be working on today. And you can get a sketchbook or like art journal a bit like this in the March box 2018, and I think there's like one left, so if you want to grab that, please do follow the links below. Sorry about my my voice, I'm recovering from a cold, so I sound a bit strange. So yeah, so I'll be working on the cover for this video. Thought it's about time I finish this. So yeah, so I will put this into fast forward mode, and I'll do a voiceover so you know what I'm talking about. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm just getting out some of like the pouches, but mostly like the paper stuff. And I'm taking out the palette knife because I like to use a palette knife to stick things down with PVA glue. And I'm just putting that paper towel in between the cover and the first page so that I don't get any paint on my first page. So I just kind of pulled out the stuff I thought I might use on the initial background. And I was just trying to figure out like what I wanted to do because I didn't really have much of an idea in mind. So I was thinking, well, maybe I could make like a hill or something, so which is what I'm doing with that paper there. But then I actually changed my mind, and I really liked how like on this pattern paper there was like kind of stripes of pattern. So I've cut like each strip out. I'm just staggering them along the page. And the idea still was to put like the hills at the bottom, but then I just stuck to these like kind of staggered bits. So I'm sticking that down with PVA glue. I'm using my palette knife. And I'm putting on quite a bit of PVA glue because this is like deco paper, so it can be kind of thick. And especially on some parts of the cover, especially next to the spine, it is a bit curved. So it helps to have a little bit of extra adhesive on there. And of course, like as things go on, more layers will be added on, so the paper shouldn't really go anywhere. And now I'm taking one of the washi tapes. This is like the regular size washi tape. And I'm tearing out each arrow individually and sticking it down. Again, following like the staggered pattern, and I'm putting all the arrows to face in. And I'm using some more glue to seal those in so they don't lift up. And I thought I was going to add some more washi, but then I actually changed my mind. And I wanted to add some of this pattern tissue paper. And as you can see, I'm just trying to figure out like where I want them. And then I thought it would be quite nice to just kind of stick with this staggered pattern. So I'm putting that there as well. And I've torn quite thin strips so that it doesn't take up too much of the background, because I did want some of the craft to show through. So I'm just adding a few bits. I've now put it on the bottom because I've now decided that I'm not going to add that paper at the bottom like I was going to. And I put some on the top as well just to kind of even things out. And now I'm just adding my chalk primer very messily along most of the cover, kind of leaving some of the background like shining through, but I wanted to like prime most of the page. And that was kind of dry, and I'm going to use one of those stamps, and I've just kind of spread out a very thin layer of that blue paint. And I'm going to use that as like a stamp pad. And I thought it would be nice to like kind of put a second generation stamp. So like a second generation stamp is when you stamp the first time, which is like the strongest stamp, and then you stamp a second time without re-inking. And that stamped really well. I really like how that turned out. And I've just like sprayed a paper towel and I'm stamping that on there to clean it. And there we are. You can see the paint's only just stained it and it was removed nicely. And then I thought that the background still was a bit, I just wanted to push it back a little bit. It was a bit busy. So now I'm taking some chalk primer and just kind of blending in the edges especially. And what was really nice, most of the blue paint was not dry, so some of that kind of smudged in. So I had some nice blue kind of like a kind of blue tint around the background as well. So you can see it's making the background a lot softer. And I want to use that image of a house there. That came on a piece of book paper. And you'll see in the first video where I created the canvas, I was going to use that, but then I changed my mind. I thought it was too small for the canvas size. And I wanted to do a tree on the other side. So I'm tearing out 3 pieces of paper from that like kind of green paper to like make the leaves, like the canopy of the tree. And I'm going to mix a brown, so I'm using the pink, the green, and then I'm going to add some blue and a little bit of that yellow ochre, just to make it more of a cohesive color. I find that when I mix it just with like the green and the pink is a bit too light. I'm putting that in with my palette knife. And then once I've put that initial like shape in, I'm going to go in with the blue to add like some highlight areas, not highlights, sorry, shadows. And then I'll go in with I'm going in with the yellow as well, the yellow ochre, to add highlights. And I'm adding that all to the bottom of the tree as well, so that it has like something to stand on. And I'm wiping the excess paint off of my palette knife onto the cover, just to like kind of bring everything together. And then I'll go in with some more of that brown I mixed, just to kind of blend things a little bit more. And I found the branches were looking a little bit too thin, so I'll do that. And I'm adding some brighter highlights using the chalk primer in a few areas. Okay, so I like how that looks, and I'm just going to paint the leafy bits now. So I'm using that green. I'm just covering it completely. Then I'll go in with some blue to add like the shadow. And I'm using my fingers for this. Of course, you can use a brush if you don't want to dirty your fingers, or you can just wear gloves as well if you don't like the feel of it. I'm going to add some white, and I made the mistake of not switching my fingers, so then the highlight was a bit blue, but that's okay because now I'm going over with the green, which kind of blended everything together, and then I'll go in with the white and it will look better. There we are. So that's nice and simple, and then that's all ready for when I want to stick it down. So I wanted to make like a path coming down from the house, and I did mess it up, but it's okay because I did fix that later. I wanted to be more curved, but then I kind of went in like really straight by accident, and it just didn't look right. So I'll sort that out in a little bit once it's all dry. So now I'm gonna like pay attention more to the house because it's looking quite plain at the moment. So I'm going with some of that leftover brown. I'm using a brush for this, and I've watered down the pink quite a bit. I didn't want it to cover up any of like the imagery of the house. I've added more like pink to the roof because I wanted to be a little bit redder. A bit like, you know, roof tiles. I'm adding green, and I'll add some blue as well to the trees. And of course, very lightly, so you can still see everything behind it. So I don't really have to add too much detail, but then it doesn't look so like bland. And I've added some pink at the bottom as if like there's little flowers around the bottom of the house. Oh, I'm also adding some of that blue to the windows. I wanted the windows just to be a little bit darker and stand out from the house. So now I'm just like putting everything together. I just wanted like to see how everything looked. I'm going to stick the house down using PVA glue. I'm not going to put the glue over the house, and I'm just using that paper towel to like push it down to make sure it's stuck. I didn't want to use my fingers because I didn't really want to smudge anything. I'm adding some more green to the tree, and I'm sticking those like canopy bits on the big tree as well. And again, I'm not going over with the PVA glue. I did put quite a bit of glue on those bits because it's the deco paper, so I wanted to make sure it stayed. And there's that little like paper cutout. I really wanted to use that, but I wasn't too sure where I was going to put it yet. But I knew I did want to. And the camera like died, so it missed me cutting out this like path, and that's from a piece of deco paper. And I'm painting it with the same color I mixed for the path, and I think I mixed it with, yeah, I mixed it with the blue. I added some of my own black paint and some of the chalk primer, and so I've just like gone over the whole path there with the paint. And now I'm just adding some highlights with the chalk primer in areas like where the sun would hit. And I wanted it to be a bit dark. I thought it looked too light. So I'm adding some more blue where the sun wouldn't hit, so like the shadow areas. And you can see when you do that, you add your shadows and your highlights. It adds a lot more definition, and you can really see the shape of the path. You can see that it's supposed to be curving. And again, adding some more white, and I've kind of mixed the white with the blue a little bit. And then I'll add stronger white highlights later on. So now you can see how that'll look. I'm just going to have to remove that path I did earlier. And I'm going to use some chalk primer with that little brush again. I'm just going to go over the chalk primer. Now, when I put this on, I really should have blended out the edges a little bit more so it wouldn't be like a hard edge. But that's okay. It's only a journal cover, so but if it was like a canvas, I would have definitely like blended out the edges so it wasn't a hard edge, so that when I go over with the paint, which you can see I'm doing now, this is pink, yellow ochre, and I think a little bit of green. I wanted it to be quite actually no green. A little bit of green, yeah, there was a little bit of green. I wanted it to be kind of close to like the journal cover, and of course you can see it's a lot brighter. So when I first put it over the path, I really liked the color, so I thought I would just put it all over the background. And now I'm blending it out with some white, and I really like how that looks. I was still wasn't too happy with the background, but once I did this step, I was a lot happier with it. And you can still kind of see the hard line of the path. So like if you were to do that, just make sure and blend out the edges so that you can't see that once you've finished. And I'm adding some like highlights and stuff to the bottom of the house and the tree. And yeah, so I really liked how that looked with that kind of blended look. And I'm going to add some shadows, some shading with the blue onto those trees. I'm putting in some more green, and then I'll go in with the white. Okay, so the path is stuck down. I think the camera cut off again or something. And I'm really happy with how that looks. And now I'm going to sort out that little like cut out quote card, and it says, oh, what does it say? I can't remember what it says now. But anyway, I'm sure I'll remember later on. So I'm going over with some of that like brown paint around the edges and kind of like brushing like a really light in some spots in the middle. And then I'll go around with like some blue, and then I'll add some white as well to add like some highlights. And the reason I've done that is because if I just stuck it down, it wouldn't have looked like it belonged on the page. So doing that really like makes everything kind of like blend together and be a lot more cohesive and look as if I had put it there. Oh, it says do. Yes, it says doing what you like is freedom, liking what you do is happiness. That's it. Okay, and now I'm going to add some details. I'm just going in with some black drawing ink and my calligraphy pen, and me for a while knows this is one of my favorite ways of adding details. So I'm going with the trees, the house, the path, and in some areas I am blending it out because I don't want to be too strong. And I did add those like birds in the top right hand corner. And I'm going in with the tree. I've zoomed in there so you can see a little better. And this just makes everything pop off the page. And I thought I would use like any of the excess ink on the pen nib to go around the edges, and I normally use a stamp pad, but I thought actually I wanted to use this instead, and I really liked how that looked. It's a lot more sketchier, a lot more messier. So I've added that all around the edges of the page, and that really like grounds it. And I've signed the corner there, and now I'm going to stick down a little like die cut piece. And I'll also add some details to that as well. And you can see that just makes everything pop. And I've just kind of gone around in some areas of the background and like kind of blended in some of that black. So like the same thing I would do with like the paint. And I'm going to use my Uniball Signal pen. This is the broad size to add some highlights. And I'll do that all over. I think that's pretty much it, really. So if you like the video, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and please do click that bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video. And I want to thank my subscribers who are sticking with me. You're really helping me out, and I'm very thankful for that. And if you do anything, like you see the video and you want to try it out, please do tag me on Instagram, join the Facebook group, share what you've created and stuff like that, because I would love to see what you've made. So thanks again. Thanks for watching, and please join me again for another arty video. Bye.